they've been told that, the way to be a man and be successful is to just go out there and work and hustle and grind and, just work harder, make more money, and, you'll be happy. But like I said, they leave themselves at the finish line, and it's a scary prospect.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. Tim, what's happening, brother?
I'm great, man. How are you? Doing really well.
Doing really well. So,
Good.
Tim, we talked about, I want to dive right into it. Yeah, you know me.
Are you caffeinated?
Oh, yeah. It's the morning over here on the west coast of the United States. I'm looking at the mountains, got a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm ready to rock.
Let's do this then.
Tim, the topic that was thrown on the table today was, what does it take to be a powerful man? How would you answer that?
What does it take to be a powerful man? So obviously there's a process, in my opinion, and in my experience. You know what? I'm going to stand firm. There is a process. And I am basing that on the results that we see men get when they follow the process. And the result these men get, by anybody's standards, they are undeniably a powerful men. They become powerful men, right? You've seen it. It was the big catalyst for you wanting to get involved because you saw the profound results that the men got. So what does it take to become a powerful man? In my opinion, the first thing you've got to do is understand where you are. Now, when the men come to us, a lot of the frustration and the confusion that they have been trying to navigate their way through is a result of them not knowing what's going on. It's like when you get into your car, right, and you program in the destination, you say where you want to go. What does the sat-nav then do? The sat-nav then figures out where you are so you can then navigate the path to it. It's the same thing in becoming a powerful man. But if you don't know where you are, then it's very difficult to be able to make a move. And the position the men are in before we start working with them is they're stuck in the void in a really dark, lonely place where they can't really see a way out. They're trying to claw their way out of it, but for some reason, they just keep on slipping back down. And, in the void, there are 5 agonies that the men systematically move through. And we've seen this with every single guy. And obviously, I have the privilege of being able to speak to these men before they come in. So I'm very aware of the stories. And I've seen this pattern play out over the past 5 years with hundreds, if not thousands of men that I've spoken to. It's like a science. It's systematic. It's as predictable as the weather. And just like the weather, if you have an early warning weather system in place, then you can avoid the storm, right, and get out of the way. So the agonies that these men then move through, the first one is greed. And this isn't to mean that, they're greedy men, they're bad men. It's just the fact that no matter what they achieve, it just never seems to land for them. It's just never enough. It never satisfies them. And they've been really taught to believe that the way to be a man, the way to be a powerful man, is to make money. It's to work harder. It's to provide for your family financially. So they go about doing that. And they're able to make money and have the home and have the holidays and the car and the status and the office and all the rest of it. But there's just something missing for these men. And the reason why it's missing is because it was never their dream in the first place. They've spent the past couple of decades building somebody else's dream. And they've left themselves at the finish line, and they look behind themselves at the wreckage that has been collected from them literally killing themselves and their relationships to achieve this fallacy of what they thought was going to be success. But in reality, it's false success and false power. And that then leads these guys to the second agony of anger, because they then start to get frustrated. They don't know how to answer this void that they are experiencing. And these guys are used to having the answers. They're used to being able to understand what's going on and get out of it. They're making decisions all day in business. They are coming home and, they're making decisions for the family. They're decision makers at the end of the day. But this is one thing they just can't figure out. And as a result, as it continues to build up over time, and the demands on them continue to get more and more and more, they feel like their life is getting away from them. And it really starts to create a lot of frustration. And it's almost like they become a volcano ready to erupt. And then they go home one night and, it's the sharp word to the wife, or the shouting at the kids, or whatever. And that then leads to the third agony of shame, because they are then acting out of alignment with who they know they could be, and the man that they want to be, and the man they know they're capable of being. And they then get into this cycle of shame, sabotage, and sedation. So they'll then do more of the actions, because they feel ashamed, then take actions again that are out of alignment with the business owner they are, or the husband they are, or the son they are, or whatever. And then they start to isolate themselves. They pull away from the people they love. They, slowly but surely stop attending the Christmas plays, and they stop meeting the wife for lunch, and they make the excuse that they've got to work harder. And they do actually do that. Often they retreat to work, but this is the fourth agony of loneliness. They start to feel very isolated, with nowhere to turn and no one to talk to, because to everybody else around them, they look like they've got it all. But they feel like it's all falling apart. And that's a heavy burden for them. And that leads to the fifth agony of uncertainty, because they're just unsure of how long the people they love are going to tolerate this. How long is their wife going to tolerate them continuing to work late every night, continuing to shut down and ignore them and not get engaged in a conversation when they walk through the door, because they're just so exhausted and thinking about work? How long their business is going to survive with a lack of leadership and them avoiding problems and burying their head in the sand, all because they don't have the confidence to be able to make the big decisions. That they used to have it, but they don't. So the first step to becoming a powerful man is recognizing, are you in that position? Because if you are, rather than beating yourself up, you're able to recognize it. And, quite honestly, over the weekend, I was speaking to Amelia and I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe it. I'm in the 5 agonies. She's like, well, what are you going to do about it? I said, well, I'm going to go do the activation method. And obviously not go through a 10-week process, but, go into the teachings of it. Because although I live it just as much as you do, Doug, at the same time, we're both human beings, and life is going to come up and old triggers are going to happen. And, I am going to fall back to the 5 agonies from time to time. I don't live there anymore. I am going to fall back there. But if I know what it looks like and I know where I am, I'm quickly able to recognize it and shift across back to where I do live, which is the 5 freedoms. And there's a bridge in between there, which is really the making of a powerful man. And that bridge is doing the 3 shifts, going through those 3 shifts in a methodical order. And if you skip any one of those shifts and try go to shift 2 or shift 3 before you've done the preceding one, it just doesn't work. We've seen it in the program. Like, guys have tried to bluff us and tell us that, they've moved through shift 1 and they're ready for shift 2, and they come unstuck. And that's the great thing about the Alpha Reset, is there's nowhere to hide for these guys, is there? We've got them hands-on for 4 days after they've done the pre-work of the activation method. And then we can really invite them powerfully to really step into their power and become the powerful man they were born to be.
It's actually absolutely such a beautiful experience to witness. And like you said, when we talk about being a powerful man, what we're talking about isn't external strength, although that is a component of something that we teach. It's that internal power and strength that is all so important.
Yeah, totally. The actual making of a powerful man is in doing those 3 shifts. It's in having the courage and vulnerability to be able to accept that, do you know what I'm doing right now just isn't serving me or my family. And actually then going into your darkness to transform your greatest pain into your greatest power. And that's what we see time and time again with these guys, because, they've been told that, the way to be a man and be successful is to just go out there and work and hustle and grind and, just work harder, make more money, and, you'll be happy. But like I said, they leave themselves at the finish line, and it's a scary prospect. The first time round, going through the first shift of the truth and really, being able to go into your darkness, because as you know, Doug, the truth is all about breaking the chains of society and really reconnecting to your instincts as a powerful man. And that takes courage. It really does. And then you can progress to the second shift of the creed, which is all about, really rediscovering what it is you want, taking a stand for what truly matters to you today, not falling for the fallacy of a success that society deemed you ought to have some false power. No, it's about you living on your terms. And we always see it, with the guys when they have that aha moment of, well, I actually don't need all these things I've been told that I do need to, feel good enough, to feel like I've made it. And it doesn't mean that they don't have more of those things. They often do, but they're not attached to those things as symbols of status anymore. Instead, they're able to get their status from within, from looking in the mirror and being proud of the man that they are. In my opinion, the journey to becoming a powerful man is all about the willingness to move through those three shifts. For example, me, at the weekend, I recognized I was cycling through the 5 agonies, and Doug, and I'd love to, hear your thoughts on this in a moment too, but it's like a science. I see it every time, from one agony, from greed to anger to shame to loneliness and certainty. They just follow on from one another. It's like a science. 100% happens every time in that order and in that way. So, being a powerful man doesn't mean never experiencing them, because that's a lie as well. No, who's perfect? Nobody. But being aware of it, then being able to accept your wrongs and address your imbalances, to then get back to your North Star of the 5 freedoms. And that's where you hang out, right? You're able to hang out in the 5 freedoms and experience life there with an abundance of joy, doing what you love, working when and how and where you want to, with time, with a work-life balance, energy to actually enjoy your life, love, and connection with the people you love as well. So they're really just the perks of being a powerful man. They're just the byproducts. But the real work, in my opinion, of becoming a powerful man is all in those 3 shifts.
Well, Tim, it's like the analogy of baking a cake, right? It's very predictable. So if you're going to go home, or a guy, if you're listening to this, you're going to go bake your partner a cake. It's a birthday cake. And, there's a certain recipe you follow. You don't go ahead and, put the flour in the bowl, put it in the pan, put it in the oven, take it out, then crack the eggs and put it in. No. You do it all by the recipe, right? You need to mix the ingredients step by step before you put it in the oven, before you bake it, to actually bake the cake. And, what we see with the guys going through this, and as you said, within ourselves, is we're seeing this go in a systematic order. It happens every single time after time after time, and it becomes formulaic. It becomes to the point, like anything, like business or anything else you're working on, you start to recognize the signs. And the important thing is not to be scared and put a mask on, right? And try to, oh no, what if anybody finds out that things aren't going well in my relationship or my health, or like you were talking about, you caught yourself in the agonies and you were honest about it. You told Amelia, you called me and told me over the weekend, and that honesty and that clarity allowed you to get out of it so quickly. And I think that's such an important aspect, Tim. Guys, I'm interrupting this episode because I want to know, do you feel bored, burnt out, or broken? Discover the system that over 300 businessmen are using to let go of the grind, find inner peace, and unlock unlimited personal power so they can have more time, more intimacy, and better sex while living a life they love. without stressing about work or feeling like a fraud. Head over to thepowerfulman.com/11 to see what this is all about. All right, let's get back to the episode.
It really is. Just again, I call it, well, we call it, society's sucker punch, isn't it? All as men, we taught to believe that we've got to have more. It's all about more, bigger, better, more, and perfection. We see it everywhere, plastered about that. Being a man is all about having every single thing in order, having it all, everything on fire at once. On fire in a good way, at once, every single thing, and it's just, there's going to be a rhythm to that. There's always going to be a rhythm to that for sure. Your relationship can grow and your business can flow and you can be fulfilled and so on. There's going to be a dance within there as well. And if you are putting yourself against this picture of perfection, then you're going to end up being trapped. You're going to end up feeling very stuck and very overwhelmed and confused as well, because you are trying to live up to something that just isn't possible. It's just not. But, society wants to paint the picture that it is. So you keep on going and you keep on working and you keep on hustling and, just work a little bit harder, get in those extra few hours and, meet the deadlines. But how many times have you met the deadlines and you've hit the targets, but, you go into the office the next day and there's just another one and another one and another one. It's never ending. So until you're able to really break free from that and reclaim your power and at the same time redefine what it is that you want, you're going to remain stuck on the hamster wheel of hustle. But when you do the work on yourself to go into those 3 shifts, then, the rewards are, it's like personal freedom, isn't it? Because it's almost like you have discovered this secret code to your soul that when you actually unlock it, you unleash something so powerful within you that you don't need any validation from anyone or anything outside of you. So often we hear it from the wives, how when the guys come back from the alpha reset, they're like changed men. But in reality, all that's changed is their energy, their presence. And they show up. It's not like we've given them loads of tactics and tools to go and, introduce their wife to over the course of, the next few weeks or whatever. We don't even talk about the relationship of the alpha reset. It's all about the guy. But because the man is able to, really reclaim his power and get a deep sense of knowing of who he is and what he wants, and with that, a profound sense of peace, when he then returns home, his wife can feel that. And she can see it in his eyes. She feels it when he hugs her. And as a result, he starts to make it about her. And she knows that he's there. She feels that sense of calm and knowing exuding from him. So she can then breathe a sigh of relief. And that is very attractive as well for the woman. That's often why, we get these messages from men that once they return, the sex lives are through the roof. Not because they've learned any kind of trick. They're just being the man that the wives have known they could be all along.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to witness and see these guys when they break through. And, as a man, when you're leading your family, your wife, and the rest of your family and your business and your community at that level of clarity and power, there's nothing like it. It's like an addicting drug, but really it's kind of like you said, it's a cheat code to life and unlocking that powerful man that's within us. I think, Tim, would you agree that I think a lot of the women see this within their men and wish they had a way of helping them break free from the agony that they can see within inside them? And oftentimes, I've heard a couple of the women mention like, yes, this is the guy I married that I knew he could become. You hear that so often.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they see it, don't they? They really do. And the reality is that guy will have been there before. But some way, somehow, so often, the men just lose it. They just lose that connection with themselves, and with it, the zest for life. Everything becomes about achievement. Everything becomes about doing and hustling and providing and proving. And they just leave their needs at the start line. And you can only do that for so long before you get exhausted and empty and burnt out, and you're no good to anyone at that point, are you? And then you start to put all your insecurities onto other people as well, because you don't really see it coming. It's very sneaky. You don't really see the insecurities coming up because they happen over such a long period of time. Just chipping away and chipping away and chipping away, and before you know it, 10 years down the line, you've completely changed, because every day, bit by bit, you have been sacrificing your own needs as a man because you've believed that you've got to be someone different than you are and force your way to success. So every day that you're doing something that you don't really want to do just to make money, it's almost like you're selling out. You're selling out on yourself. You're selling out on your real desires. And the more that you do that, the more you lose touch with yourself. And that's when we see these guys then start going home and, pouring themselves a whiskey or two and just trying to calm their mind down, because their mind is racing and they feel torn. They feel completely torn within themselves, because on one side, they now have these obligations to this business that, yes, it makes money, but it drains them every day. And they're starting to resent it, and they're avoiding things, and they're not wanting to lead and not wanting to make decisions, and it feels like a drag. It's worse than a job, because they can't even switch off from it. It consumes them. And on the flip side, they know there's more to life. They know that life ought to feel different to this. They know that life is supposed to be happier and have more fun and more spontaneity. And they're wondering, well, a sex life, why is sex boring? Why am I not having it? Why am I choosing to watch porn instead? Because you're not going to have a really vibrant sex life if you are killing off the connection with yourself by selling your soul every day and doing things that you think you have to do just to make money, when the reality is you don't need to do that. I'm not saying to you that you quit your business, but the reality is there's tons of ways to make money. Making money is easy. There's more money around us now than in the history of this planet. Money is in abundance. So there's loads of ways to make money, and you don't have to fight for it. You don't have to struggle for it. When you are truly in alignment with what you desire and then what you deserve, then you actually show up in the world in a very effortless way, because you know who it is you are and what it is you want. And that sense of clarity and purpose opens you up to opportunities and impact and money that fills you up. But again, the lie that we have been told is that you've got to sacrifice to make money. You've got to sacrifice in order to have what you want, and you don't. That is one way to do it, for sure. You can do that, and you can make money that way. And there is another way. There's another path. The path whereby you actually go through the 3 shifts and you're able to reconnect to your instincts as a powerful man, break the chains of society, take a stand for what truly matters to you, and stand firm and say, this is what I want. This is what I'm creating, and say no to everything else. And then actually allow it to flow through you, because you'll be more inspired. Your creativity will open up. You'll make decisions faster. I was speaking to a business owner yesterday, and the past couple of years, he just lost his mojo. He was telling me how, prior to that, he was really in a place of flow. He was making money, deals were going through, he's in property. But the past couple of years, he's just been completely paralyzed. And what it came down to was the fact that he didn't hit one of his targets. And when he didn't hit that target, what it had done to him is he realized that throughout the previous kind of 10 years, as he'd been making these deals, he then started to put all of his worth and significance on the success that he was achieving. So then when he had a setback, he then saw it as a reflection of him and started to feel like a failure and started to tell himself all these stories and tried to get it going again, but in the same energy and the same mindset that created the setback in the first place. He went into business knowing who he was, knowing what he wanted, and then it changed along the way. As he started to experience success, it changed, and he started to expect things, and they started to reflect his worth and value as a man. So then when he had setbacks, it just threw him off. So there's one destination and two paths. You can achieve it with the stress, the struggle, and the sacrifice and arrive there, beaten, battered and bruised, which, I can't believe that used to be a positive sign, if you ability to tolerate pain as men and persevere was almost a badge of honor. It was a badge of honor that I wore for a long time. I think it's a badge of honor that some men still do wear. And it's just not working. Men are killing themselves in their relationships to get to that one destination. Or you can choose another path where you do the work to become a powerful man and go through the 3 shifts so you can then experience the 5 freedoms. And like I said at the beginning, have optics, know where you are so you can make the shift instead of being a victim to what's going on around you.
Absolutely. Great advice, Tim. Love it, man.
So guys, if anything I've shared with you so far has resonated and you are in the void, or you're even contemplating, where am I? What's going on? You're losing touch with who you are and what you want. I want you to go over to thepowerfulman.com/freedom. There's a short video on there that I think will bring a lot of insight to you on what you get to do to actually make this shift so you can live up to your potential and be the man that you know you're capable of being and step into your power as the powerful man you were born to be. So that's thepowerfulman.com/freedom.